So I want you to be now super uncomfortable and watch this video of an interaction between him and none other than Diddy. Take a listen.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher. I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
Going crazy.
So young Justin Bieber, who was signed by Usher, involved with Scooter Braun, now all of a sudden he's being put in the hands of Diddy, who, it is true, he became the legal guardian for Usher. You can look up all of the allegations of what Diddy did to Usher. A lot of this coming out via multiple lawsuits that essentially, if we were to put it in a nice context, or at least use a euphemism for something that's really disgusting, the allegations are essentially that Diddy very much initiated Usher into Hollywood.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also while you're out.
He got me a Lamborghini.
Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last time.
He had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than to be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
The internet didn't simply halt when the video of Diddy with a 15-year-old Justin Bieber reappeared. It exploded. The video is terrifying because it depicts a young Canadian singer who aspired to be a superstar in the making being abruptly taken over by one of the most influential guys in the music business. As he boasts about having Bieber for 48 hours and vows to go crazy with him, Diddy is grinning and laughing. Some people dismissed it as harmless fun at first, but when you look at closer, it feels more like grooming than mentoring.
Unearthing videos of Justin Bieber at Diddy parties. Now, Justin Bieber was obviously extremely young when he entered the industry, extremely innocent when he entered the industry, an industry that he did not quite understand as a boy who just knew how to sing and play the guitar and just did both of those things on YouTube. Then he was scooped up, and suddenly he was a part of people like Diddy going after him and saying, hey man, why don't you pick up my phone calls? There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin Bieber looks to be like 15 years old and said, why aren't you picking up my phone calls? And he's like, oh, I know you were trying to contact me through people and I don't have your number. And the next thing we know, Justin is at Diddy's parties.
What's up, man? You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, young brother, everything's good?
Everything's
Selling
great.
out arenas and everything?
Yeah.
Starting to act different, huh? You ain't been calling me and hanging out the way we used to hang out.
Well, I mean, you try to get in contact with me, you know, through all my, partners and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But you never really got my number, so.
Right,
My
okay.
number?
Yeah.
Tell you my number.
Yeah.
This discussion was ignited by Candace Owens, who never backs down from a fight. What millions were already murmuring, she declared out. That it was no coincidence that Diddy had access to Bieber. It was the objective. The business was aware of Diddy's notoriety. It was untouchable for decades due to his connections, fortune, and influence. And he immediately drew Justin, who was still a youngster at the time, into his circle. The date was emphasized by Owens, who emphasized how weird it was that a young celebrity was abruptly linked to Diddy's hip in both private and public settings. In hindsight, the warning signs are evident. Imagine being 15 years old with no knowledge of the industry and being pursued for attention by one of the most influential music moguls. Bieber attempted to shrug it off with an uncomfortable giggle, but his body language said otherwise. After watching the video again, Owens posed the crucial query. Why was this acceptable? Why didn't anyone intervene?
He
did an interview back in 2020 with Zane Lowe. I think this was on Apple Music. And he was speaking about another young artist that was coming up, Billie Eilish, and Eilish. And he was basically speaking about how he wanted to protect her because she was now another young person, a rising artist in the industry. And sort of out of nowhere, he became quite overcome with emotion. Take a listen.
Did you feel protective of her?
Yeah, I definitely feel protective of her. It was hard for me being that young and being in the industry and not knowing where to turn, and everyone, telling me they love me and, just turn their back on you in a second. So, yeah, it's hard because I want her to know that, she can count on me, but at the end of the day, I don't want to. Never gonna force myself to be in a relationship with her. It has to be natural, right? So I just kind of, let her do her thing, and if she ever needs me, I'm gonna be here for her. But yeah, just protecting those moments because people take for granted encounters and yeah. So yeah. I just want to protect her, I don't want her to lose it. I don't want her to, go through anything I went through. I don't wish that upon anybody. So, yeah, if she ever needs me, I'm just a call away.
I'm not even kidding. Watching that clip makes me emotional because he is saying so much without really saying anything.
And in this one video, it looks like whatever Justin is doing, I'm not going to show it out of just respect for the fact that I truly believe that Justin Bieber is a victim. But whatever he is doing in this video with Trey Songz and Odell Beckham Jr. looks highly suspicious. I can show you a still from that video because I think the relevant part is Justin Bieber is not sober. He is clearly very heavily under the influence at this party. And if you remember that lawsuit that the producer Rodney dropped against Diddy, he said that unbeknownst to all of these people, they were being drugged at Diddy's parties, that they were pouring out the liquor bottles and replacing it with other drugs. He kept
to my limits. Oh, I gotta feel that experience. I'm coming back. So good. Happy New Year! Woo!
The tale becomes more sinister behind the scenes. Owens brought up Diddy's legal troubles, many of which assert that his parties were settings where control was enforced through drugs, coercion, and silence rather than merely being glitzy affairs. At such events, Bieber, who was barely out of childhood, was surrounded by grown-ups' temptation and forces that were completely beyond his comprehension. Owens declined to play one of the clips, but it portrayed Bieber sitting with Odell Beckham Jr. and Trey Songz while intoxicated. It appeared to be an adolescent enjoying fun to the untrained eye. Owens countered that this wasn't enjoyable. It was jubilation masquerading as exploitation. The industry contributed. Owens clarified that Diddy wasn't acting alone in this. The danger indicators were recognized by media personalities, label executives, managers, and agents. They saw that every time Diddy was brought up in interviews, Bieber became uneasy. When Diddy brought up Lamborghinis and expensive presents, they witnessed his clumsy giggle. They witnessed his decline in later years, as well as his emotional collapses, unpredictable conduct, and desperate times. But they remained silent. Why? Due to Diddy's excessive power. Owens said it plainly. Power defends power. The fact that Bieber attempted to warn us later in life without saying it out loud only serves to heighten the tragedy of this tale. When discussing defending Billie Eilish in a 2020 interview with Zane Lowe, he broke down in tears. Another young artist was abruptly brought to the attention of the world. Bieber sobbed, stating that he didn't want her to experience what he had. His cries spoke for themselves. Even if he didn't explain what had occurred, Owens made the connection. It was more than simply stress. It was trauma concealed by notoriety. Additionally, the video of Diddy boasting that he had guardianship of Usher when he was younger came back to light. This history was brought together by Owens. Diddy has a tendency to associate with up-and-coming artists, portraying himself as a mentor but casting doubt on what actually transpired behind closed doors. The litigation against him points to a society based on coercion rather than guidance. Nobody in the business wanted to answer the question that Owens posed. Would any typical parent permit their 15-year-old kid to spend nights with a prominent adult celebrity without supervision? The answer is clear when you put it that way. However, they turned their heads away since it was Diddy. For decades, Diddy remained untouchable because of this silence. Owens clarified that the media even made fun of awkward times between Bieber and Diddy by calling them odd or humorous. But she maintained that there was nothing amusing about it. No one paid any attention to the warning sign. She attacked media, organizations for shielding Diddy rather than a young person who was obviously in danger. This was not rumor, she said. Systemic negligence was the cause. The walls are now closing in as Diddy-related litigation and investigations mount. Owens emphasized to the audience that the time has come for the truth to be spoken. No more rewriting history. No more NDAs, and no more acting as though previous actions were only harmless quirkiness. The video, the interviews, and the lawsuits all depict a guy who exploited his position of authority to have access to people who were unable to defend themselves. Justin Bieber, a young child whose ascent to stardom was permanently marred by the shadows created by Diddy's influence, sits in the middle of it all. Candace Owens continued after Bieber. Justin's case is just one of many, she added. The distinction is that Bieber was too well known for everyone to ignore. However, there are innumerable people behind every well-known person whose tales have never reached the news. According to Owen, the entertainment sector has long struggled to shield predators rather than kids. Diddy was only the public face of the issue for years. He was wealthy, well-connected, and immune to criticism. He was more deadly than anyone realized because of that type of protection. Owens shifted the topic to parents as her program went on. She asked viewers a direct question. While staring into the camera, would you allow your adolescent child to spend unsupervised evenings with a celebrity? Naturally, the answer is no. However, it is precisely what Hollywood. Normer Malised. Owens stated that since Bieber's tale isn't unique, parents should be alarmed by this. It's one of the few things we can genuinely demonstrate occurred, she emphasized. That parents must exercise caution since fame exposes rather than shields kids. Owens created a story about a system collapsing under its own weight. Former supporters are turning away from Diddy. The lawsuits are public, and the testimony is mounting. Owens underlined how rapidly things are changing because of Diddy's power. Individuals were afraid to speak out against him for decades, but now that the truth is coming to light, that dread is dissipating. She said that Diddy's firm hold on the business was about to come to an end. One of the most impactful parts was when Owens played back previous interviews with Bieber, revealing that he was clearly uneasy anytime Diddy was mentioned. Something seemed amiss based on his apprehensive chuckle, his sidestepping of inquiries, and his reticence to provide more details. Owens disagreed with the media's dismissal of it as harmless entertainment. She blasted them for not looking into it and for defending their access to Diddy rather than Bieber. The current situation is devastating. Diddy is being sued for allegedly fostering an atmosphere in which control was upheld at all costs and quiet was enforced. Owens clarified that the affluence houses private planes and fancy automobiles weren't only markers of achievement. They served as manipulative instruments. Diddy employed them to entice, impress, and exert authority. Among the children entangled in that web was Justin Bieber. Owens hurriedly wrapped up. Her message: the quiet must break immediately if we are to safeguard the future. Generation of artists, this has nothing to do with drama or celebrity rumors. It has to do with accountability. Diddy surrounded himself with weak talent by using his status. And he was assisted by far too many grown-ups, according to Owen. This is what true exposure looks like. Not suppositions or rumors, but facts. Uncomfortable, hard realities. And those facts are right in front of us. There is the old footage. There are lawsuits, there are testimonials. Justin Bieber's own passionate outbursts are available. It is impossible to overlook the pattern. The industry allowed Diddy to flourish unfettered for decades. However, the walls are now closing in and the stillness is being broken by the truth. Owen's remarks struck a chord because they covered more ground than simply Diddy. They dealt with a whole system of celebrity, wealth, and power that let abuse pass for mentoring. Bieber was fortunate to have lived and to still be alive to share his tale. Even if he never does so in full, others might not have had the same luck. Owen's last strike served as a reminder: power cannot always protect predatory behavior, and fame cannot justify it. There is a growing body of evidence. The world is now starting to see Diddy for who he truly is. And the hush is breaking.